We are live in YouTube. Welcome, Priit. How are you doing? Tere õhtust.
Tere õhtust. Hyvää Hilda. Yeah, I'm doing good. Pretty, so to speak, busy at the moment. So stuff with my projects. Then I supposed to get a new apartment next weekend, and a lot of different things. So I'm good.
Good to hear. You have been pretty busy lately with jiu-jitsu after the kind of like hype you got from the Globetrotters, and after that from the BJJ Fanatics DVDs that you made for them. How has that changed your schedule in jiu-jitsu?
I think, you asked because I think you know, but so before Corona, so I ended my traveling mid-March. Last one was in Zwickau in Germany, mid-March, and then the Corona happened and everything went, lockdown. And before that, I think I started, maybe some weeks, maybe I was home also, but overall, I started to travel maybe starting 2018 October, and pretty much you could say 1.5 years. I was on the road, pretty much camping, and you could say like I was home also during the weeks but during the weekends. So it's changed my life a lot. People actually started to get worried that Priit, you need vacation. It's not easy. It's kind of fun also to travel, see new places, but the traveling, early wake up calls and those things will get you tired, always sleeping in a plane. So that's changed my life definitely. And I kind of, I don't know, stupidly thought maybe that if I do it with Fanatics, maybe people see my DVDs and they don't invite me to seminars anymore, because they can learn everything from there. But like I was wrong, so it just helped more to put my name out there. And I really like that I actually have something to say. So I'm not, I couldn't be in my position. I couldn't be another De La Riva guard player, because then I would compete with all the big names and stuff. So I would lose that competition. But actually, I think I have something to say. And you could say like a niche kind of that not many people are doing, and somehow I ended up doing. So my life is I couldn't predict my life like 3 years ago what would happen, because also I started to do in Globetrotter camps 2017 June. It was first camp was Copenhagen, and then I think I did first 3 camps and then nothing happened. Everybody was kind of surprised at all the Estonian bluntness and all those things, and who the hell is that guy? That I was kind of strict, kind of straightforward. I still in a way am. And so nothing happened in our first section. Kind of, I think people got to know me and checked me out, and then 2018 fall was kind of, I felt like it started to come bookings, and then it's okay, this 2018 is gone, now it's booking to January, February. And then I was like, okay, something's different this year. So it took a while. Because we did a Fanatics. We did a first DVD was released 2018 February. And so 2018 fall, October, kind of that I started to feel that something's different. And then yeah, so the rest of his history. So it's still pretty cool. So, and we'll see what happens now. The Corona kind of, Schengen opens up, world is opening up, maybe not US, but the rest of the world, yeah. Maybe
civilized world.
Yeah, so we'll see how it continues. So because my year was booked till the end before Corona. I had an Australian New Zealand tour planned, and like a month and a half long, and so it's postponed. So we'll see what happens after the Corona now in the fall when everything opens. But so, and then we'll see if the madness continues.
I hope so. I hope it does. It's
Anyway,
not.
sorry. I
Yeah.
also I also have one. I had one seminar booked in Finland. That
Oh.
in end of the, I think it was the end of the September with Teemu Toroi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I met him in Zen camp. So he was like, "We have to do it, Priits," you know. So I was like, "Okay," because I never basically done anything in Finland. So I was kind of hoping for that, but now with Corona, I will see. You know.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get to actually do that seminar in Finland. So it would be very nice. It's not that common to get that kind of like a hype and a name for just being a coach, because most of the guys who are doing a lot of seminars and who are selling a lot of DVDs and stuff like that are the most famous competitors. I think there's only, I think, couple of coaches that actually have any kinds of hype under their belts at the moment, and you happen to be one of them. It's quite of the kind of unique situation, I think, in jiu-jitsu world, which is pretty competition driven, I think.
Yes, I agree. Um, to tell you in a sad way, that I actually thought that I would be stuck in Estonia. I knew I remember that thought. Some people are asking me before that, but I remember when I was 30 or something. You know, I'm 43 now. I remember I was 30 or something like this, that I knew that if I do not find some original idea, you know, that I will be like stuck in Estonia forever. Because for me to reach out, to travel the world, or have anything to say, I need to get out. And it was always like you know, like a curse to be jiu-jitsu, you know, black belt, whatever, in Estonia, because you're against the world, and everybody's position is better, so to speak, and more famous gyms, and I don't have so big competition record, you know.
Yeah.
So and kind of, it's in a way it's a Cinderella story. Those ideas I played with, all those, you know, Hawkins and shoulders, and my fascination with that defensive stuff, it started like almost 10 years ago, and I have no clue why. And my only explanation is because I had to give answers to people, and I didn't like the answers people showed me. All those side control positions, you know, like a frame the hip and frame the neck, and all those things didn't make sense. Because we taught them to people and then they failed, because, you know, against the full resistance, it's actually pretty hard to do. And so certain things bothered me, like, oh, does it have to be that, or do we just have to blindly believe the people? And then some, you know, it's not like everything I invented, so to speak. It's a lot of discoveries, watching other people, you know, Saulo Ribeiro with all this also kind of running man game he had. He talked about turning the back, you know, and so a lot of hints here and there. And so somehow I managed to, I don't know, build organically a system that's pretty different than compared to what's out there and what I advocate. And even in Globetrotters, actually, the fun part was, even in Globetrotters community, uh, you know, in a very, very jokingly light way, people thought I was crazy. Because, you know, I do the sitting turtle panda stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So people were like, what the fuck, you know? What is that? So it's super weird. And I played the turtle and I didn't care, you know, people took my back and then I escaped. And it was super weird that I always tested this because I wasn't sure. And then Globetrotter gave me access to decent black belts, you know, some even competition black belts. And I got to test my things, and that gave me more confidence. Some flaws came out, and then I had to fix them. And so, and really, I think the system, I would say in 2019, 2020, I think it's like peaking, or we have enough, and the feedback is still not ready. You know, nothing is ever ready, but but we have a lot of feedback. We're actually, we will talk about it, I guess, later a little bit, but I had to gather feedback around the internet, what people have said and stuff. So we have 80 A4 pages of people saying like, oh, this is so cool, I use it, I feel better, I get less submitted, I now know what I do, why I lose, now surviving is fun, So the feedback from people actually has been overwhelming, actually. And I've always said this is why I do it. So one of the reasons that beginners should have an easier time surviving, because my anger, you can also say like anger in slightly anger, is everybody talks about beginners. Oh yeah, I need to have survival, you need to survive and blah blah blah, but there's actually not many system in place to provide that knowledge, because everything is more driven that what the top guy is doing, and always the information is more thought out from the perspective of the top guy. And escapes they're still there, but compared to how much attacks are thought out and systemized and polished and drilled, and escapes are not. So, and then turtle was, I don't know, always I've said, the people that taught me always said turtle is a transitional position and don't stay there and don't turn your back. And then I saw Eduardo Telles doing exactly opposite and getting away against very, very good competitors. I was, for me, this is contradiction. I was like, wow, this guy can do it against all the best. And now we're saying that, don't turn your back. Clearly we can. And why is that information not everywhere then? Why only one guy maybe does it in a very highest level? So how come we came to one position, this position in time? So most people don't play turtle, or in even gyms they don't play turtle. So always at least I know that at least one guy in every gym is a turtle freak, but and nobody likes him, so a lot of thoughts, evidence, kind of contradiction, didn't make sense to me, and now we're here. So now we have a interestingly weird system with all the running mans and sitting turtles, standing back escapes. I promote a lot because it's missing. I'm not against putting a back on a mat, but I also say that going up is also possible, and we're not teaching that. We're teaching standing up in a guard and not stacking. Yeah, I always say that. In a guard, we teach standing up because of benefits, and we don't teach stacking. But in back escapes, we teach stacking, putting your backs on a mat, but not standing up. So to me, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm trying to, I don't know why I'm driven by that, but it just annoys the shit out of me that something that important is missing. So I'm all for that. We have both extremes, and then I let people to choose what they want to do. So those kind of ideas have driven me to figure stuff out. So that's kind of short story. So that's my niche, and seems like I'm not the only one. And people really love that, there's a defensive structure and they're struggling less. And so and now people recommending me through other names, and it's interesting to watch. So I agree that it's weird, a guy from Estonia, against all odds, but I honestly think I have something to say, and I will do it until I have something to say. So so I'm enjoying it definitely, but I don't know how long it's gonna last. So
do you consider the defending jiu-jitsu being your kind of like a core game, or is it just kind of like you said, it's a niche that you want to teach to people? Do you see that more as a niche, or something that you see that it's lacking from the big picture? Or do you see that your jiu-jitsu is more based on basically just around that defensive point of view?
I guess, because I advocated so much, I roll also the way, and I'm not saying people have to roll the way I do, because I do it mostly because I want to find out more. And I don't care, as a black belt, you can say I made it, And after that, it's like, you know, just enjoy jiu-jitsu. Everybody wants that black belt, you know, and stuff. But I definitely overuse it, and maybe it's not the way everybody should use. But I'm just curious to find out. Plus, I'm lazy. And also, I guess if people, you know, they attack me, and you know, most times they overcommit, so I get my sweeps and stuff, and so then I play top also. But I also do it because I do it because I want to inspire people. Because also I want to roll with my level people, so I can do it against them. And many of them are surprised after what is it, you know? It's weird. They clearly see it works, and they have to now make sense of it, you know? So and all this what people are programmed to, that don't turn your back and it's dangerous and blah blah blah. So those things in a right context are not right. So they're confused because, you know, all the things they learned, and now somebody proves them differently in a match that actually they're attacking, and so they feel it personally. So that's what I do it more. And I think, let's say, defensively, I guess, yeah, the weird thing is now it becomes a thing in itself, you understand? So now it's my niche, I have to promote it. So I don't want to overdo it because it's not the most important thing. But if you watch like competitions, then you clearly see after the guard pass, the guard player level drops. Yeah, you understand what I mean?
Yeah, for
so
sure.
their guard is kind of, you know, always, you know, good guard attention playing guard. And after the guard is passed, right away, the top player and the bottom player, there's a clear level difference. That top player has definitely trained the top more and knows more what he's doing. And then the bottom player is scrambling, you know, for his life. No, not scrambling in a good way. Just, I want to get out, whatever. And then usually mistakes happen. And you clearly see they haven't trained defensive skills as to the level of their guard example, or to match the attacker's skill level, because, you know, everybody's time is limited and they have to spend their time to, you know, either being good in guard, good in defense in a bottom, or extra good, let's say, in guard, and then defense is lacking a little bit. So because the time limitations, you know, everybody has, or maybe they just also think people don't have a good systems in place, and that's why they get caught. So that's kind of like a little bit cocky, but again, in a right context, I don't think it's bad to say. So so that's also kind of why I promote that. I felt it myself when, you know, I roll with people. And also I think defensively, I think you can argue what I'm going to say, but I think it keeps people longer in jiu-jitsu, because they will enjoy jiu-jitsu way more when they have defensive system in place, so they can get the guard back, they don't get crushed. So I think defensively it makes sense. And what the feedback has been also, people have said that I know my defense is good, so I can risk more in offense, because it's very hard. Let's say, I usually do that example that if you're a boxer in MMA, you will punch way harder when you know you have takedown defense. Yeah. So that's also, it's really counterintuitive. Like, oh, you want to get good in guard, train more guard. No. Because guard is stretching, attacking. You have to take risks, and they can counterattack at time. You know, they can pass your guard during your attacks. You need really have like a good defense that, you know, you're not getting stuck, and that actually allows you to risk more ferociously. So I think that to be true. So, and what else? So that's why I like defensive jiu-jitsu. And also the fun part was in actually our gym right now, in one group, we're teaching Dars, Anaconda, and all those like jokes. We teach them defense, different timing defense. And actually in my group, I think in 2017 or maybe 18, I did it, my group, in a advanced group. I only did 2 months of escapes. from arm triangles, you know, the Dars, Mars, Bars, Fars, Lars, all those anacondas and stuff. And what happened is everybody got, let's say, super good in Darses and anacondas, because everybody's motivation to do those chokes was the highest because the escapes were there. Because I've done also earlier in my career, I've done also this way that, okay, you teach a Dars, you teach anaconda, and then people got super bored. Because when you start to drill resistance drilling and also in a sparring, people defensive level is bad, yeah, let's say, and the Darses and anacondas are easy, you know, and they don't get escaped. And people motivation soon to do them and get really good at them drops. First it's interesting, then it's like, oh, it's easy. But if you teach defense, not first, they need to know, you know, what is Dars and how to work with this. But when you teach them defense, then we do the drills, progressive resistance drills, and their motivation to study Darses and anacondas, it's really high, very long time, because I always teach them early, middle, late timing defenses, and then finishing is always hard. And so polishing that, it's important. So in a way, I taught in my class, I taught defenses against those chokes, but the result was I actually taught two things. They also got really good in Darses and anacondas during that time. But if I would only teach attacks, they wouldn't get good in defense. So it's a really interesting like side effect. I'm not saying like only teach defenses, but defense seems to be one of the only things that pushes attack to become better. My good friend Rondel from the Trinidad and Tobago actually said that you know, that Terere and Telles, they had a team. They had you know, the team TT. So and Terere's training partner was Telles also.
Yeah.
So Terere had really awesome back takes. I think nobody can argue with that. So imagine one legend is, imagine where he got it from, fighting Telles. And if you can,
they kind of both became excellent in their own areas because they were kind of like opposites to each other's.
Yeah. So imagine fighting Telles every day in your goddamn gym. It's like, but most people, if they meet my turtle, they go like, oh shit, okay, pull guard, let's play. They're annoyed because it's super defensive. But I say, like, to use those people, you have an opportunity to get really good at back takes. Yeah. So you have opportunity. So would you take it? So Telles got really good defending the back, and Terere trained with the best guy that was in a turtle. And his back takes, you know, if he solves like a Telles turtle, pretty much he solves everybody's turtle. Yeah. But it's a super hard, super annoying, really struggle road. But after that, you're done. So, but defense is what pushing it up. So that's why I love that defensive side of it. And I even have a joke that, which kind of superpower do you want? Would you want that I can submit everybody or nobody submits me? Yeah. So I would, you know, because if you know you can't win, I think it's more demoralizing. If both person has options to win, then okay, you see the way, but it's hard. But if you know you can't tap that guy, I think it's more demoralizing. And I think, like I said, to finish up this talk, this section, but people have said that also, one guy in Netherlands, that he actually feels he can attack way more because he doesn't care. He's right away turtling, standing up, doing the panda spins and back to the guard. So in a way it makes sense. But I think people have to take it in a right context, that I'm not advocating this to do in competitions and all those things. It has to be, you know, trained and then, but I don't mind. You can do it in your own way. I use it extensively, way more than people should. You do it your own way, so everybody can make their own choice. But I think everybody should have that knowledge, so to speak.
Yeah, that's kind of really emptying the questions that I was going to have about this issue, because one of the biggest issues that when people criticizing the the style that you are advocating, the extremely defensive style, is that there's no offense in that kind of like over defensive style. But you pretty much went through that already, saying that it's, of course, people have to train how to attack also, but knowing that you're really good in defense might open you up a little bit more for the
Yeah.
risks that you have to take for the offense.
Yeah, because I also think that I will make, in a very kind of, I say too much now, but in a way that I make you bored, that you will be so defensive and so safe that you become so bored, and then you find exactly right time for you to attack. Because for some people, they're afraid to attack, so they might play this more. Some people are ready, start developing your attacks faster. So I'm not saying, because the key is that you have to feel when is the right time to start to learn offensive techniques. But if you're afraid, so because you get punched in the face, whatever, boxing analogy. So you're afraid, but you play defensively. And also what I say to people that criticize that this is one way to make the play even. So let's say if you're better than me, then to balance the fight, because you're better than me, I will shut myself more down because I have that option. So, and then we're even, yeah? I shut myself more down, I attack less, you're better, you can attack less because, I'm more closed. So for you, if you want to play with me and make it even, because we clearly understand who's better, so to speak. So you have to be less aggressive for me to move, for me to feel that I'm safe. And then I open up, then we play. If you start to bully me, I shut down again. Because my goal is to play and have an even play. But if you're better than me, I want to play with you. But if you bully me, why would I play back? Because I get destroyed all the time. And then there's no way I'm going to enjoy that. So it actually is also pressure to the better person to lure them, kind of show them that it's come out of your shell. I'm going to match your level. Let's play. Yeah. So this is also one argument I will say to people that said, oh, you're so defensive, but then don't be that aggressive, because I want to have an even fight or have a mutually good time. And, when I roll with, let's say, I haven't rolled for a while with beginners, but if somebody's bigger and more aggressive and a white belt, that is the most dangerous person to me on a mat. What I do, I just clamp, I shut myself down. I'm going to be very close to him, so no elbows and anything will hit me if they turn around. And I'm going to be super defensive until they're tired and game is more even, then I open up. So this is another way to even the fight, so to speak, because I don't want to get injured and I want to enjoy the role and blah, blah, blah. So I think you can use this defensive strategy in different ways. And of course, it's like any tool that if you do it wrong, like if the fight is even and if you still are super defensive, I would also say, why not? Because maybe I want to get better. I want to test this against equal opponent. I want to test my defense against equal or better opponent. And you have a chance to really understand how to take the back against a really good defense, where you have to force the openings because nothing is open. So it should be interesting also for your game development, because attacking somebody, like let's say in a wrestling analogy, taking somebody down who knows wrestling defense is way more valuable than taking down somebody who doesn't. So taking the back against, let's say, my defensive ideas, there's more value if you can do it. So try. And it's easier to go like, oh, I don't want to do it, it's super boring, or you see the opportunity to get actually better. So that's also what the answer is to most criticism, because I know it is annoying. That's why it's built for.
Yes. How about, in my head, this seems that for a competitive perspective of jiu-jitsu, this is a way longer route to a success than, let's say, a conventional, in quotes, conventional way of training jiu-jitsu, which is more attack orientated and more kind of like balanced, if you know what I mean by
I
balanced.
absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. So your goal is not to teach the best competitors. It's to have the average trainer or practitioner to enjoy jiu-jitsu more. Did I understand it correctly, or?
I guess, yeah. So in our gym we have I think 3 main competitors. One is the Nogi guy, Tom. He likes more heel hooks and stuff. Then it's Liisi Vaht, you know, she competes a lot, pretty high level, in a girls brown belt. And then we have Taavi Vaigla, who's in Masters, I think, fights and has pretty good results, always in a podium, so to speak. So it's not very, we don't have very, you know, heavy competition scene. But also we have done, you know, randomly good. I think I would like to say that if I would push people, they would compete and they would do pretty well. You know, we won, I think, Nogi Finnish Open. I think we got like a trophy or the best club or something like.
Yes, a couple of years ago, I remember.
Yeah. So people were like, what the hell was that? So, you know, but we don't have that competitive environment so much that everybody's driven and there's like a big team and let's go competition. We're more laid back. But I would disagree with that, that it's not for competitors, because I think under IBJJF rule, this approach, dare do I say, it's kind of perfect, you know, in a way, because first of all, Turtle avoids 3 points. Yeah, Turtle avoids 3 points, so it's easier to make up advantage than at 3 points. Yeah, there's no argument in that. So good turtling skills, surviving and then escaping from turtle, avoiding all those seat belts right away and all the chokes. Yeah, so it makes sense. Yeah, right away, because people turtling is bad. And then what you see also, people getting guard pass, they turtle, they get their back taken, and then 4 points, and that's like a spiral down. Yeah, so you see it all the time. So if nobody, it doesn't make sense to me, because they turtle, but the turtle is bad, so why turtle anyway? But they want to avoid 3 points. So it's like a really bad dilemma and the worst dilemma. Yeah. So I would say, and the fun part is the sitting turtle. Yeah. This up like a kind of panda we call, or sitting turtle. It should not be even advantage under IBJJF rules, because that position doesn't exist in a rule book. So I've asked some IBJJF referees that, you know, that I know, that what is it if you past my guard in a butterfly guard, I just hang my head and play sitting turtle, you know, and you go behind me, what is it? Because, and they're like, it should be advantage because it's not a turtle, but I think they give you advantage. But there's no position in IBJJF rulebook, so it's literally should not be anything. So that's the fun loophole there. But but people can correct me if I'm wrong anyway. But that's what I asked, you know.
Yeah.
So,
and turtling is very good strategy in ADCC as well, because in ADCC, when you turn turtle, it's always annuls any of the points. It doesn't matter if it's a takedown or pass or sweep or anything. If you turn turtle, it's annuls all the points that was supposed to come from the situation.
So why are people avoiding getting good in turtle? Because turtle has so many good, you know, side effects of being good. It works in ADCC. It helps you do not get scored against you. It helps in IBJJF. And so there's so much benefits, but it's so demonized to turtle. But everybody does it. It's demonized in a gym when you train, but you have to do it in competition. So for me, it's like, I have no clue what's happening here, because it clearly doesn't make any sense. in a way, it's sad to see, but it's changing. And because of me, people are talking more about turtle. And I know people that were also like, oh, I would choke you from turtle, hell and back. Usually I say, like, bring it. And then people try, and they try crucifixes and clock chokes. And if I really want, nothing works. And then they're confused because they never met that. So to finish up also, I would say you can train it extensively, but I think the core idea, how to, not give underhooks, not to stay in side control flat, turn away right away, or turn in, go turtle. I think it's not actually hard to teach. And I think it would be very beneficial for competitor to not get stuck in a position, for 3 seconds or whatever. So I would say definitely for competitors, attacking and all those things are important. And introducing this defensive style in a right amount of, time, or in a way that you don't have to get really like, it doesn't have to be 70-30 to defensive to make it work. So those ideas will start to work in a day one kind of idea. And the idea is just avoid pins. And that movement patterns and stuff we teach, it starts to work in a white belt level, and you can train them parallel to your attacking style. I don't think it takes more time, because I actually think that sweeps and De La Riva, De La Riva sweeps and all those things, they are more complicated because they have more moving parts, grip there. But my defensive stuff is just, everything in, elbows in, stay, look for a way out, don't get pinned, get pull guard. So they're both, I guess, hard in a different way. So I would say, I'm not advocating that only defensive, but just that's me. And kind of because it's tilted in a world, the way people train, because somebody smart said to me that mostly gyms train mostly if you look what people train in a BJJ gyms is guard passes and sweeps. And those things are very thought out sequences, this and that, and studied. And then very, very, very rare, you actually have like a systemized defensive reactions against all those things. So I'm trying to balance it out, so to speak.
Yeah, I think it's a very good idea to.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh.
I think it's a very good idea to have like systematic approach to those defensive sequences. But what I was actually thinking is, you said that your style is kind of, or your idea is to kind of like frustrate the opponent. And I was thinking about in competition, you don't usually have time for that in most of the cases. Of course, 10 minutes in black belt division is quite a long time, but there's not always time to frustrate, like really frustrate the opponent with the defensive game. Then could that be a problem?
No.
in those situations?
No, because you're asking the right question. So my answer to you is this, and I love those questions. So I don't mind all you asking the correct questions. Let's say it's also, what's the word? It's counterintuitive again, in my mind, because let's say you want to escape the mount. Yeah, you want to escape the mount the quickest, as quick as possible. And that means you have to have the biggest knowledge pool under your belt. That means you would have to have stayed in a mount bottom the longest time. So your experience level there against everything is very high. And then you can pick under pressure the quickest correct answer. Understand? So my view is that as a beginner, you start, super tight. You don't know much. That's the position, guard pull. You're afraid. Your heart is pumping. Your decision-making process is kind of slow. You're overthinking things. The pressure is there. So you stay longer. Yeah. But the key is that to gain as much experience as possible, what's going on there against the guillotine, seat belts, wrestling attacks, tilts, that under the pressure, you would make the quickest, you could make the quickest decision how to get out, because like you said, the time is the, you know, pushing. So there's also, I think, way that you can get caught in that laziness, but that's why we have rules and different kind of drills that to force you out of that lazy mode. Because we could do drills as first, you know, I use this those positions I use as trenches. Yeah, you know, the trench, you sit there, and then there's another trench like sitting turtle, then is a running man. There's different trenches, so they are like still frames from the action. Yeah, I teach them because we can separate that they're different enough to teach. So then we teach the transitions between those positions every way. Like if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, then I teach you 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4 to 1, 2 to 3, you know, all kind of transitions. And then I said to you, I will say to you, never stop. Because later everything is transitions. Yeah, so the idea is I teach you still frames, and then I say you never stop. But I couldn't teach you in a first day like you never stop, because you don't know any movements. So I start with a separate section that I can identify for you, that you can stay safe in, even if you're a more experienced grappler. If you get tired, you have those trenches around, you can go and a little bit get your breathing back and then run again. You know, like in a war, there's a trench, then you go like, "Urrah," and then you go like, you know, and then you run 100 meters and then another trench. Yeah. So that's how you win wars. And then if somebody's better, you will back away to the trench. Yeah. You don't run kilometers, you just go a little bit back to the trench. So I'm saying, like, if you're more experienced, you can run 200 meters without going to trench. Yeah. Or retreat 200 meters without, you know, picking the trench. But if you're a beginner, you need more trenches because you feel more in danger and it's very hard to navigate between those bullets.
Yeah.
So, and you can do drills to force people, you know, to stop this lazy mode, or I would say like try to connect 2 to 3 movements in a row. And then I let you, let's say, stop. So somebody gives you pressure and you move and you're allowed to stop after 2, 3 moves. And then you have to move again 2, 3 moves. And then I will say maybe you can do 3 to 5 and then you can stop. So we do different drills to force you out of the lazy mode. And then also we train the lazy mode that, you know, they can destroy you any way you can. You have to hold that one position no matter what, with all your strength and whatever you do. Yeah. So both there's those options. The moving around is dangerous one way because the movement creates slack and slack creates, you know, openings and stuff, but you compensate by movement because they're hard to catch, those openings. And staying still is hard because you're sitting duck and people can just, you know, manhandle you, but you're super tight. So that's the compensate, that manhandling, because you wouldn't, if you would be here, you get destroyed. So they both have their own weaknesses, but I find that, you know, like a boxing also, I would teach you a stance. I would teach you small steps to move with your stance, you know, backwards and sideways. And then I will tell you, never stop, always be a moving target. And if you want to plant your legs and really punch hard, you can. But I would teach you to move around because that's conditioning, that's thinking ahead, that's always being a sitting, like moving target. So that's, I would say, under competition, if somebody goes there, they have to be trained this way, that it works in a way like a Carrie Donnan way, you know, or Jeff Glover way, that they just go like, you know, those kind of crazy sequences and they connect so many moves together that it's like a supernatural. But I think it is actually trainable. And now also what gave me confidence also was US collegiate wrestlers that actually they have scrambling camps. The scrambling is our 4th line of defense. And now their scrambling is systemized. They do drills of the most common scramblings, what can happen, and they learn to control them. So it's very, very fascinating, actually. And then I think jiu-jitsu, we can do the same. And my kind of, what I promote is one way. Maybe there's other systems, but I'm proud kind of, because I think my way of thinking, my way of thinking is kind of first, because I'm always trying to find the first layer of defense. I think those frames and stuff, they come later in a way, because you have to have more knowledge because you're exposing yourself. So this is kind of the first, and then we come out of that, because clearly framing works, but also it puts you in danger a little bit.
Yeah.
So for white belts and stuff, I usually say don't use frames and don't get flat, because then everything is super, super hard after that. So that's my thoughts about competition, kind of, how it should work.
Yeah.
So.
Just on a side note, when you mentioned Jeff Glover, just before we started the live, I was talking with Jeff, and we decided that he's going to be a guest also. We just need to confirm a date with Jeff, but he's an exceptionally nice guy and funny, so it would be nice to have him as a guest as well.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the BJJ Fanatics. You've made several DVDs for BJJ Fanatics. How did that start? Did that start through the Globetrotters, or did somebody contact you or something like that?
Yeah, so interesting story. You never know who you're going to meet in life and how it's going to benefit. Let's say my first DVD was filmed 2018 November. And Michael Zenga contacted me, one of the guys, Zenga, and then Faria, yeah. So I knew Zenga before. I don't remember, we haven't talked years. And he called me up in 2018 September. Hey, Priit, you want to do it? And I was like, what? Like DVDs? Why? Blah blah blah. What do I have to say? And but I knew him before that. I think I met him before in US in Steve Whittier gym. He was a East Coast head coach in SPG. He had a Nexus gym. I think now it's called SPG East Coast. So I visited his gym, and I shared my knowledge there, and Michael Zenga was there, and we did a grilled chicken open guard, the rotisserie chicken, like all the position, and we did that, and Zenga was interested, and he asked me some questions, and we rolled, and so I didn't know who he was, and back then I don't think they did Fanatics back then, and we got along, and then he called me maybe 3-4 years after that, because I think why he called me, because I think their idea is they're not only looking for good competitors, but they're also looking for, it sounds weird when I say it, but they're looking for good coaches.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, who has something to say, because their idea is they want to have the biggest jiu-jitsu library.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I think they're looking for an exceptional ideas, and ideas that are different enough from other ideas. So they want to have like they don't want to have like 10 DVDs about open guard passing or something like that. They want to have different kinds of ideas. It's kind of like a small niches they're considering. So I think it's a good idea.
I guess if you say it like this, then kind of my information is, I think, a little bit different, than I think Turtle, and then Sitting Turtle DVDs and all those. The last one is Running Man and the Baby Bridge that tied everything together. Now we filmed also Back Escapes. So now it's coming in July and August or something. So I have a 8 to 10 DVD deal, so I have stuff to do. So I'm still doing good, and I'm kind of surprised how their business works. And because I thought, that kind of nobody knew me, and but they wanted to make, sell DVDs and make money, and I was like, how is that gonna work, But then Zenga said, like, don't worry, that you have something to say, and we will spread it, And the rest is history, and I do pretty good. And
do you have information how many of your DVDs have been sold? I know like Gordon Ryan DVDs and John Danaher DVDs, they sell thousands and thousands of those. So how do you have like kind of an estimate how many DVDs of
I
yours
think
have been sold?
between 2.5 to 3,000.
That's pretty good.
I think it's pretty good for Estonian guy. Yeah, and I'm actually myself, I'm surprised, but in a way, I think there was, that compared to what they have in defense in the library, it's not that big. Danaher did something, and there's some defensive stuff, but there's not so much defensive things compared to how tilted their library is. Not in a bad way, just the way it is. And I'm happy I could, add to that thing, and that's why it's easier for me, kind of, to separate myself from. I'm not competing with those guys that's gonna do attacking DVDs, teaching arm bars and stuff. That's clearly not me, and so that's why this, I think, works, and they see it. And so, like I said, our first deal is 8 to 10 DVDs, and after that we're gonna see, do I still do good, because they're in a very good way, they're all about the money, in a way. They want to do jiu-jitsu, but also they want to sell it, that's their livelihood.
Yeah.
So if something sells and people like it, they keep doing that. So, and seems I'm getting more and more friction. So far it seems that they're happy with that then. And so I'm happy with the deal. And so kind of we both benefit, but it's actually, it's a magical kind of story that's just someday just somebody calls and let's do some DVDs. And first you have those doubts, like, who am I, what I'm going to teach, why somebody even has to listen, because it was still before my tour and everything, but it was kind of in a perfect time in that sense. And so yeah, I'm super happy about that. And kind of one of my mottos or motives was always been like, leave the jiu-jitsu world behind better than I found it. So I'm really proud that I actually have done something. I've added something, and all those turtles and sitting turtles and stuff I added to the pool of knowledge there, and so that makes me really proud. And that's kind of what everybody, all the coaches and everybody wants, that they're remembered. I guess it's an ego a little bit or whatever, but yeah, I'm super happy how this all has worked out.
Yeah, and I'm happy too. I think it's motivational for a lot of European guys and Nordic Europeans, especially because guys in our region does not get that kind of like exposure usually. So it's always good that there's somebody who does it first. So maybe it will help in future to somebody else to get that kind of notification or knowledge. Knowledge, no, not
Yes,
knowledge.
I agree.
Noticed.
Yeah, no, because I agree, because my case shows that it's about information,
Yeah.
not about the fame, because I haven't done, I think my best competition result is 2018 Scandinavian Open in purple belts. I took gold. That's my best
2008, not 18.
2000, yes, 2008. Sorry, yeah, sorry, I said 18. 2008, and then I took like a gold, and I haven't competed. So people that watch this podcast and stuff, I think it's really encouraging. I think that if you just keep doing what you're doing, you have an idea, you polish it, and it's really information that you think people need, and when you're ready enough, it actually can happen. So in my case, I will not say anybody can do it, but clearly in my case shows the information matters. And it's kind of also weird, because when I first went to club tours, people the way I was as Estonian, kind of blunt and stuff, but now I'm actually traveling, and also I'm surprised that I could still be me and do my things. So I think because I know that the Finnish guy, the spaghetti legs, what's his name?
Tommi Pulkkanen.
Yeah. So I think he did a DVD with also, but not with Fanatics. He did some with somebody else.
It was a European company that he did that DVD with.
Yeah, because I think Fanatics are looking for those things. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure they know who he is, and but there's probably some deals and stuff. So definitely, like they did it with Tarik, from Norway. So I think everybody that has a game, I think they will look it up. So I think it's really good. So like you said, like Nordic people getting more, and it's a big part of the Europe. So we definitely have like good grapplers and grappling minds. And if we can record what they think, I think it's for the better.
I think so too, and I'm pretty sure. Of course, it's people need to have some kind of an exposure first, either competing or coaching through Globetrotters or something like that, which was kind of like your way into getting known by people. Because I remember when I've never been in a Globetrotter camps, but I follow Globetrotters on Facebook, and I remember people started talking about in Globetrotter Facebook groups about the videos that was filmed at the Globetrotter camps that you were teaching. And I think there was kind of like a early hype in that Globetrotter community before the BJJ Fanatics and stuff like that. So
because I think my most famous class is 2017 Leuven camp in Belgium. It was Turtle. It was actually off schedule class because I said to somebody, if you want to do it, I will happy to teach off schedule. And then in open mat, somebody goes, Priit, let's go. And what do you want to teach? Because I mentioned during my class, I can do teach Turtle. It's easy. And then people ask, and then the videos in YouTube also, Globetrotters in Action site, I think it has 17,000 whatever. For me it's a big number, like views. And so that was really like a really awesome introduction to what I can do, because it was nobody talked about it, and right away I could say my strength, and people tested it and stuff. So that also I think gave people reason to maybe to hype or whatever, because they could see. And I systemized it, and I made it, I would even say, easy for them to understand. It wasn't technique based, it was just one position based. So yeah, so that's that. The Globetrotter happened, and then the Fanatics. Yeah. So, and in a way, I don't know, they're both benefits, like a perfect storm kind of.
Yeah.
So everything happened in a right time, so to speak. That if the Fanatics would caught me earlier, maybe I wasn't that big then. So I had to do like a Globetrotter circle 2017 to 18, get more known. Then Fanatics came. So it's a really interesting, the timeline, how everything happened. So it's like a little bit like planned, but it wasn't. So.
Yeah. Talking about Globetrotters, you have been kind of like stable in the Globetrotters community and in their camps for a couple of years. I want to have a Christian on my podcast one day, but let's talk a little bit about Globetrotters, and especially about the website that they have, the Bell Checker website that they started. You, of course, were one of the first in the Bell Checker because of your involvement with the Globetrotters. Can you explain to people what is kind of like the idea behind the Globetrotters and what is the idea behind the Bell Checker?
So Globetrotters. So nobody pays taxes. Yeah, nobody pays affiliation fees. People work together. They work with anybody they want. I think for people that they don't have a coach, that gives access to black belts, because you will get graded in a camps. I think Christian does a pretty good job there. Or I think it gives you also access to network of coaches that will help you. Some people in those members areas, they go like, I mean, they're kind of in a weird position, weird part of the country or somewhere. Can somebody come to help? Usually somebody always goes. and they have some kind of deal that maybe the flights or stuff are paid, and so it's really helping community. For me, it was because I was looking back then, 2017. I was still part of SPG, but I was looking maybe towards doing my own thing, kind of leaving SPG. So it took me a year after that. But so for me, I didn't want to go, I didn't want to register myself as a IBJF coach and all those things. So for me, it's easy. Globetrotter is registered in IBJF. Now they have some feud, yeah, now they have some problems, but I think they're going to solve it. But so I found a way that everybody fights under Globetrotter banner and they can compete anywhere. So I don't have to pay those euros, what those IBJF guys want, those fees and black belt fees and all those things. So I'm not against anybody that does it, but it's just too much, I think. So it was kind of like a loophole, you can say in English, I think, that you can use. So what else? Globetrotter. They have camps, probably, like Kravarta said, that's his vacation, and he invites everybody to join him. So he goes to different places. So community comes together, or belts. There's no, actually some guy in St. Bart's Caribbean camp, we were talking about it, that he asked that he was a little bit worried that maybe it's like us and them and some small groups here, Gracie Barra, and then it's this and that. I was like, nobody cares. So people just like jiu-jitsu, they talk, and it's really chill. Also, I think I'm not for those, teacher and guru things that you have to bow to the mat and you have to ask higher belts to roll with them and all this kind of nonsense. So it's really chill. Nobody cares. On and off the mat, you have to be respectful, or you want to be, or like a human being. So camps are a really good way to connect people, to have context around the world. So Christian likes to build a community in that sense, and just overall politic-free jiu-jitsu. So I think that's also a very strong message, that just forget the politics. You can train with them, and I know I go to some seminars and some guys are from gyms that they're like, oh, we can't come to picture, our coach will yell at us. I was like, dudes, you're like adults, and some other adult can tell you that you cannot be in the picture because you're in this team and he's that team, and it's like, I think it's too much.
Yeah, I know.
So I understand also the reasoning and stuff, but you can argue that maybe we're past this goddamn tribalism, and that's not normal. I don't think that's normal human behavior, so no politics. Still there have to be order and all those things, that, but
yeah,
but it's very chill. So I think in a main way you could say Globetrotters is this very, I'm very enjoy working with Kragwart. He's a workhorse, with very clear vision to what he likes Globetrotters to be. And also, if you ever have a chance to listen his one of the lectures he usually gives in camps, like what he does for a living. So he explains how he actually got to the Globetrotters, because Jorgen, the Tartu guy, he has a idea that actually stole it from Estonians, because we had big camps, and Christian actually, with Danish people, he actually visited the Estonian camps like 4 times or 5. We had like 140 people and everything. So but so that's the community. So what I think what I named, those things came to my mind. Bell Checker is a weird social Facebook, jiu-jitsu Facebook, because now I think you can also add your pictures there, training pictures and all those things. You can, you can, I think you can log how much people train, or how the club, register your club and how much belt you have there. And it's a weird statistical also kind of data pack, so to speak. I like it. I think the goal was that to compete with IBJF in a way, that So because they're giving, you know, online certificates, you know, you're a black belt, you get, and they cost a lot, yeah, to go to get those certificates. So I got my belt checker certificate. It cost me 40 euros. I'm second degree, community verified, and everybody can check, you know, and verify what my status is in the jiu-jitsu community. So I think he wanted to compete with that. Not to kill IBJF, I think that's too much to say, but in any field where you can make money, the competition is good. Because before that, I think IBJF was, you know, monopoly, so to speak. Yeah, they gave those certificates and, oh, you're verified and stuff. So belt checker doesn't give you allowance to go to those, you know, coaches section in IBJF events. But also, if that's 40 euros, you put it in your club, you know, on a wall, and everybody, all parents, everybody can, you know, there's a QR code in a certificate. You can come and you can get verified. You can be checked, and also it's community verified, because if anybody kind of finds out you're a fraud, you will get downvoted like in a very fast. So if nobody comes there who has a very shady past of, you know, harassing females, or, you know, in jiu-jitsu there have been some, you know, bad apples here and there, yeah. So I don't think you can come to belt checker if your reputation is bad, because you will get downvoted right away because you are that harasser and doing this. So that
Do you
also,
know if there's been any cases of somebody getting downvoted and not getting verified by the community in belt checker?
Crowder downvoted me, you know, because I had some things on not fulfilled, some demands, but that was a joke. But I haven't heard. I don't visit that, you know, every day, but there's always the Crowder tries to find the balance that how the voting should happen. You know, there's people have some ideas, and it's really community based. And most people want to get, you know, be honest. And somebody said like, oh, you can buy votes and you can vote for me. I send you $10, you know. But as soon as anybody gets like a hint of that, they downvote you, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's like somebody, yes, can make a false account, but the system will finds it, so to speak. Yeah. And I think if you go to belt checker right now, I don't have it here. If you go to belt checker right now, I think it's the profile fulfillment of the profile is like 99%, because that's what Crowder doesn't want, that, you know, unfulfilled profiles, you know, that you go somewhere, something is missing. So people are actually filling profiles and there's working, and, you know, so Corona kind of a little bit slowed it down. And now I think you can ask Crowder more about the belt checker, because I think he has, I don't know, bigger plans, because now is the club section is there and you can monitor the training activity, and he just adds things to in a way make people use it more or stay there. And now you can add your pictures, and, you know, so it becomes like a jiu-jitsu Instagram. And so everybody is a jiu-jitsu person, so kind of also makes sense to build a community there. And you can ask him whatever plans he has more, because clearly you can connect very fast to anything there. So
yeah,
so it's a really interesting project. Many people are like, oh, I don't need this verification, I have my super master somewhere. I was like, you know, they're a little bit missing the point. And I think the name, maybe it's a little bit, I'm not saying deceiving, but, you know, belt checker, but it's becoming something more also there. So I really I would encourage people, you know, actually reading the instructions, that how you can register and what you have to do. It took me a little bit, but if you don't read instructions, it's you know, then Crowder gets like 1,000 emails usually that people don't read instructions. But I really enjoy that. I think it's a interesting project, like a social experiment. It's never been done in that way. And also I think that IBJF should have done it before, because they would also need position like this that connect everybody in the world. But actually Crowder did it. And seems like Crowder likes those kind of, you know, club trotter involve everything, not politics. belt checker, not politics. So it's a weird how his mind works, that he just wants to counterweight some other systems.
Yeah.
Because I'm not against affiliations and everybody, like if somebody feels they have to be, yes, but I think the Globetrotters is way of not doing that also.
Yeah.
So I think it's very good to have that option, and I don't see it's bad.
Yes, and I also encourage people to go to the belt checker. I enjoyed it a lot, and of course you can find me and you can find Priit from the belt checker, and you can check our profiles and you can send a friend request to us and stuff like that. So go to belt checker and find us, and let's build that community even bigger.
Yeah, because it's anything that brings people together. I would say cannot be that bad. So
Yeah.
and definitely there's the rules and stuff that it's absolutes are kind of bad, but I think it's a wonderful project that we should give a chance. So
For sure. Before we end our podcast, we've already done a little bit more than an hour here, but you also are building your own online training academy or online training system.
yes,
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sad but true. Yeah. So seems like again that the time was right to do it, because I've been traveling 1.5 years, and getting contacts and getting more known and so to speak. So so the name from a website, it's Defensive BJJ. So .com. So it's right now it's only a homepage. You can register an email and get notified for our early opening or something. But we're building it right now. So actually me and Grauert are building it. So I could only way to say it is like he came to help, because he saw that it's time and maybe to do it. So we're building that. The point is, I guess I'm gonna push for my niche, so to speak, that and it's always a risk that it becomes a thing, like too narrow thing. But I think defensive jiu-jitsu is not a style, so to speak, but just a mindset there. And I would there's gonna be like a member section and stuff. So like rolling and analyzing rolls and some instructionals like for that site. And because it's endless, because if somebody has a good combination that works, in the highest level of our sport, some guard passing, whatever combination, we can analyze it, how to kill it, in a very early guard stage or late side control or submission stage. So we can do that endlessly. Those combinations are there. So I'm kind of justifiably, I think, afraid of that a little bit, what's going to happen, because now there's a must. I have to produce content, so the pressure is on me. But it clearly there's a room for that. I think the message been heard, and there's enough people that are interested and gave me feedback and encouraged me that it is valuable information. They like it. They feel invincible, so to speak, and so I have to try. I have no clue is it gonna be success or not, but like most things, I started with my defensive stuff for me and rolling this way, and now we're here. I couldn't plan this 10 years ago. I would never plan this how it turned out, and I just have to do what I have to do, and I have to do it in my way. It's I have been offered some, I don't know, projects is much to say, but in a way that maybe I had to change my things more, like Priit be more nicer or Priit do this and that. But I guess I am like a whole package, the way I am. I think that what I teach, and seems like maybe world needs a little bit of bluntness with all this. Everybody wins and everybody get a medal, and also sentences that jiu-jitsu is for everybody, that I don't agree with. That I think it's dangerous mindset and very apolitical, so to speak. I think there's people really have to change sometimes, and it's not for everybody that, but for people that actually are doing the work. And so I like that more idea, that it has to mean something and it's hard to do. And so yeah, we're building it. So I hope, let's say July seems like a good time, like 4 weeks, maybe even sooner. We will put it up. People can check out, I guess, the website right now and put their emails there and see what's coming. And then we'll start to build it, build a community, and we'll see how it works, because like I said, it is a niche. So, and to say it's not going to be like any arm bars there, maybe it's not correct, but clearly I'm going to push that just to balance out the world, because there's so many sites that are dealing mostly only with attacks. There's, you can name a bunch of them, that they don't show systematic defense clearly as much. So I think this is also a reaction to that. So if their sites are not balanced out with defense and they're clearly more attacking oriented, so my site would be more defensive oriented. And do I dare to say that luckily I don't have any competition, because it's a joke, because maybe I missed somebody, but I don't know any site that does that.
So, or at least that is focused on the defensive side. Of course, has to be like, there's a lot of big sites that have like online libraries, and they must have defensive stuff there. But just to focus on that, is it going to be like a traditional BJJ library kind of thing, or do you have something kind of extra or different on your page coming?
Well, extra different, I think, is a very long testimonial page, because I wasn't kidding when I said we downloaded all the testimonials we could find from internet. People have shared with me like 1.5 years now, from Reddit, from my site, from everywhere, YouTube. And I got 80 pages of A4. So, and we put everything there. So that testimonials page is wonderfully long if you want to ever read it. But I think there's going to be usual stuff, that free stuff. When I guess you also see me rolling, or people that in my gym, they roll free stuff, definitely, because I will still do clubs or the camps, and they all go there, I think. And then I think the main thing is because the site's idea is you get access to me. I'm not selling you techniques, so to speak. It's not going to be like 1,000 technique videos. That's also, I think, to get you interested in stuff. But what the site is about is that Priit would be your online coach, access to me.
Okay, and so it's going to be a little bit more personal than just the video library.
We're trying to find out, because we're trying to slowly, during stages, slowly build a community to give access a little bit, and then more and more. Like a belt checker, still a bit started, like slowly go, and then we see the dynamics, how it works, because clearly I cannot answer, let's say, if the community in some point is 500 people, and 500 people ask me a question, like it's a crazy project. So we have to figure out how it works when we scale it, because clearly I can watch videos, people uploading videos there. I can comment. Probably it has to support my DVD sales, because if somebody has no idea of turtle, I'm not going to explain them the full turtle there, because there's clearly DVD you can watch, and then you have a context, and then I'm more than happy to help, because now we can add and fix details and stuff. Other way, I would have to explain everything at once, and if you have a scaled community, it's impossible to do. So it's going to support that. I guess it's going to support my seminar tours and stuff. But mainly what angle I liked, what we took, was the access to me.
Yeah.
And maybe in the future it will expand, because I have guys in a gym that can do similar what I do. So, but at the moment it's access to me. And I think that angle It's not new because I know some sites also are doing those things, access to some coaches, but a lot of online sites, I think they do more, techniques and everything. They have longer or shorter instructionals there. So, but I guess that the point is, yeah, the me as a person, me as a coach, and I travel a lot. So if I go to seminars, people can keep contact with me through that site. So if I give them the all the system running mans and all the pandas, so we can be connected after that. They can ask for questions, add-ons, problems. They can film. So it's one of the ways I can I can stay connected to the community. And this is what I've a little bit done badly in my part, that I do the seminars, but then we a little bit lose the contact. Some people still write me and contacted me, but still the bigger community is like they're on their own, So I always felt that I would want them to see how they do and how they evolve. And so this is one way to try to figure it out, how to keep connected to people so they would have continuous support through some videos or something, or even access to me. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, sounds interesting, and I'll add the link to the bottom of this video as well, to the thing that I can't remember the English name now. But anyway, the link is going to be below the video in YouTube. So go and check the defensivebjj.com, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is there anything you want to say in this part, or we're going to wrap it up?
Yeah, so it's always dangerous to ask me that, Do you want to say something? Because I'm going to say again something. But no.
Feel free. I have all the night.
All jokes aside, usual stuff. I want to thank you for opportunity, because I know, during the podcast, people like you will choose somebody that, who has something to say, or you want people to get to know more. So I appreciate I was in that list. And more exposure, more ideas, and a new audience, and maybe even they will question me more, try to challenge me more in a good way, so I can become better. Because I always encourage people to, if you don't agree, constructively criticize me. I love it, I like it, and if I'm wrong, I will always have to correct myself, even if I hate it. Because if you preach something for a long, it becomes part of you, and then if somebody finds a mistake, you have to change if the mistake is justified and said that now this is this. So I'm always welcome that if any of the listeners want to add something or question more or something like this. So overall, I thank you for your time.
And I thank you for your time, and thank you for accepting my invitation to be part of the podcast. For everybody watching, subscribe, click the bell, follow us, and please tell us how people can find you if they want to contact you or follow you and your jiu-jitsu journey.
So I have an Instagram, Jitsvulcan. I have a YouTube. You can go just Priit Mihkelson, but I think the add-on is Mihkeltron. It's kind of reference to the Transformers, Mihkeltron. And then Facebook is Jitsvulcan Priit Mihkelson. It's not Mihkelson, but just correctly spelled. So those Facebook, usually I'm very active. Instagram stories more, not the pictures. YouTube, I try to put up the YouTube like every week, one clip at least. And if you want to see my work more than Globetrotters in action, look for a coaches list. There's the Priit Mihkelson there. I have 17 videos up. So usually those things I promote. And I guess if people want to support, look out more. So there's 4 DVDs with Fanatics. So there's some clips and stuff that introduce what I do there. So that's usually those are my channels. So yeah, that's it.
Yes. Go and follow Priit, and we see you guys next Wednesday again for the BJJ Suomi live podcast.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Os.